Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. So for this video I want to show you the process of me working in my December daily for week 4 and then like week 5, since the 5th week is sort of just like 3 days. And so I'm going to combine the two into this one video, and then I'll probably do a separate video showing you an entire flip through of this December daily. Now, one thing that I kind of want to mention before I even jump into my little book here is that I actually ended up rebinding the entire thing. And so if you noticed before, I had like 8 signatures in here, and look at it, it's already getting really chunky. And I knew that I wasn't going to use up all those 8 signatures, and so I ended up taking out, I think, 4 of them, and so I only have 4 here, and then I rebound it, but I think I bound it a little too tight, and so it's still gonna sit like this, unfortunately. But yeah, I really didn't need those extra pages, so I just kind of took it apart and rebound the whole thing. And so I have one empty signature here, and then I have these couple of pages in this one, and I still didn't do anything on this, but we'll see how this goes. I actually did print out my photos on my printer. And so I have all these photos. Most of them are movie posters because I watched a lot of movies this month. But yeah, so yeah, I think I'm just gonna dive right in, and I might either play a little bit of music or do a voiceover when I go and edit this video, so you can see and know like what I'm doing and stuff like that. But yeah, so I had to take out 4 little signatures, and so I think I'll put those guys back into my December daily. I have like a little one of those gallon Ziploc bags that's full of sort of December-y, winter-y type collections. It's really only 2 collections, which is the Snow and Cocoa from Crate Paper and the new Snowflake collection from Crate Paper. So I have a Ziploc bag for those 2 collections because I only use them for winter and for December daily. So the signatures that I pulled out from this book, I'll probably just put them in there for maybe, well, as I'm filming this, maybe this year's December daily 2020. But yeah, so I'm gonna just jump right in and start working to finish up this little book, because I would really love to finish it now, like today. Yeah, so hi. I'm just gonna, yeah, just start and jump right in. So what I end up doing first is trying to figure out where I want to place all of my photos. I had a lot of these little photos of movie posters, and they were from a few films that I ended up watching throughout the month. I think I have about 4. The Knives Out one is a little bit bigger. I printed it out 3x4 because I knew I wanted to make a page solely for this movie. And so that is what I'm doing right now. I went to go see this movie with my brother in the theaters, and it's the only one that we went to see in theaters. All the other ones are older movies that I just streamed on Netflix. And yeah, we actually caught this like just as it was being removed from the theaters, you know, like those last few days that they have like random showings of the movie, because it's been out for quite some time. And we've been wanting to watch it, it's just we never had the time until, you know, the holiday break. And so we went to go see it, and it was amazing. If you're into the sort of like, I don't know, I describe it as like a murder mystery type, like Clue type movie, but it's sort of comical, and there's like a weird twist, and it's just a really good movie, and the cast was amazing. And so that's basically what I journal about on this page. Now, this page came out really quickly. I'm basically using all of my scrap pieces of paper that I have left over, and I'm trying to use them all up, and so it's just a lot of layering all of those different little pieces to make 2 clusters. One is the actual photo cluster, and then the other one is a cluster for writing space, because I wanted to use the ticket stub from when I went to go see this movie. And I generally don't scrapbook my ticket stubs. I usually have a box that I put them all in, but I figured, you know, why put this in a box when I can just put it in my December daily and it'll be like housed permanently here. And so I think moving forward I'm going to stop putting all of my ticket stubs in my little keepsake box and actually scrap them and scrap the memories of it. And so I'm just gluing everything down. Again, this page comes out it came out really quickly. I did a bunch of clusters behind the movie poster, and now I'm just looking through my little bits to see what I can embellish it with. I end up taking out all of these chipboard stars, and I use an assortment of the gold ones and the yellow ones, only because the movie poster is very warm. Like, even the pages that I did it on, like the 2 pages, the book page and then the pattern paper that I chose, that makes the whole thing feel very warm. I used a lot of the craft elements in the scrapbooking papers that I had, and so I thought like the soft yellow stars would complement that really well, and it would also complement the Knives Out font that is also yellow on the movie poster. And so I am just gluing them all down, just like scattered them about around the movie poster and around my little writing space there. And I end up doing all of my journaling last, like after I do all of my spreads. And so yeah, that is this page. So I decide to document the movies that I watched in sort of like an accordion tag pull out sort of thing. And so I'm using these tags. It's from the cut apart sheet from the Crate Paper Snowflake collection. And they have different sentiments on it, like Let It Snow and Hot Cocoa and Cookies and Peace, Love, Joy, like little sentiments like that on them. And I am trying to figure out how to kind of position them in sort of like a fold out accordion thing so that I can mat all of the movie posters onto the backs of them, and it'll be like a little pull out, and so that I can document all of the movies on one spread. I have about 4 movie posters that I want to have documented, and so I took out this piece of ribbon. It's a spare piece of ribbon that I had that I thought I was going to use for like a trim of some sort, but I realized that it would be really good to connect all the pieces together. And so that's what you see me here doing. I am just lightly gluing them onto the different tags so that when they fold into each other, it'll be like an accordion type thing. You'll see once I continue to create this bit. But that's basically what I'm doing, and I'm using a glue stick just to glue that on lightly because I'm going to glue the movie posters over where the ribbon is. And so I'm just trying to figure out how exactly I want everything to be positioned. And once I do that, I decide to mat each movie poster on some of that music paper just to get that sort of creamy vintage paper feel to this pullout, because I think everything, like the entire book, my entire December daily has that old book page feel to it, and so I kind of want to mute down sort of the scrapbookingness of these tags and just bring in some of that paper, and so that's what I end up doing here. So in order to fit this little tag flip out into my book, I actually take a bit of masking tape and I put it down on my page before I put down the movie poster so that it sits behind it. And I'm just gonna tip it in, basically. I am going to tape it in like that so that it folds out like so. And what I end up doing next is just taking a bit of kind of gold and white striped twine, and I am just going to knot all of it together so that way the little pull out kind of stays put into my book, and when I want to pull it out I just have to take the string apart to open it up. And so yeah, that side is done. Now here I'm just going to do a very simple mat and glue down some of that graph paper so that way I can do some journaling about the movies that I put into the accordion tag pullout, and I'm just going to put it there. I really hated to cover up that paper because I love it. It's like my favorite paper from the Snowflake collection. But I made sure that some of the houses showed up, and I'm just using pieces from the ephemera pack to decorate that little corner there and just give it something, little extra. And I'm looking through the stickers as well just to make a nice little cluster there. So for this next page, I wanted to document those two photos. I end up actually splitting this in half. I took all these strips of paper, most of them are the branding strips, and my goal here was to use up as much of these strips of paper as possible. Like, I just kind of wanted to use up all of the scraps because I had a lot of these little pieces left, and this was the last week that I'm documenting in this book, and so I kind of wanted to, use up my scraps. And so I decide here to do a little pattern with the branding strips. This is, I feel like a lot of people do this with these strips just to make a nice little background on a page and just use up a lot of these branding strips. So that's what I'm doing here, is making a little pattern on the back so that way I can put the photographs on top of this background. And yeah, I had intended to use both of those photographs, but after I matte them and everything, only one of them looked right, and so I ended up splitting the two to two different pages. So what I end up doing is I end up matting the photos onto this vellum. I have this, I think it's like gold stars, like scattered little gold star vellum. It is the same vellum that I used at the beginning of my December daily. So I'm just matting the photos on that just to give a little bit, just to have a little something behind the photo, but not too much that it covers up that background that I just made. And so I mat both of my photos onto this vellum. And now you see me here struggling to position both of them, and this is where I end up splitting it. I end up just using the photo of me and my friend John for this page, and what I end up doing is I cut this little label in half and tuck it under the photo, and then I use the other piece of the label for the other one. And so when I glue everything down, I cut off the excess paper strips, but instead of throwing those guys out, I decided to use that for the other page. that sort of sisters this page, like sort of matches this page, kind of like a sister page, for the other photo that I had matted onto the vellum. And so you see all of these little paper pieces here. They're, you know, they're just pieces. I end up saving them to use onto a different page. So I'm just trying to figure out where I should work on the, you know, the twin page for that one. And I decided to pick out this sheet music here, because just the colors, it was nice and warm and just matched very well. And so this is where I end up doing another background using those strips of paper. I used all the different pieces that I had cut out and then some new ones that I had. I don't cover the entire back of this one. I only cover enough so that it makes a nice background behind the photo that I kind of glued down towards the bottom of the page. And I pretty much do the same thing that I did with the other one. I tuck the half of that little pink label underneath it, and when I go to do my journaling, I just write a little something in that little label. So to sort of embellish this page here, I go through the sticker sheet and just take out a bunch of star stickers. Now I am decorating the other side of the page. I decide to use this scrap piece of the graph paper that I've been using throughout this book to sort of kind of make like a, it's not a color block, but sort of like a color block but of the grid so that I can do my journaling on that side. And I was looking through the stickers to see what sort of stickers I can put in the middle between the pattern paper and the graph paper, so that that line of blocking the two elements isn't so harsh. And so I pulled out the snowman from the Snow and Cocoa sticker sheet, but I end up replacing that snowman with the one from the Snowflake sticker sheet, and I end up using all the little trees from the Snowflake sticker sheet and a bunch of other stickers just to blend those two blocks together. At some point my camera cut out, and so here I am trying to find elements to work on this page. I actually kind of jump about in this part and end up working on the last spread in this book first, and then going back to those other photographs. So here I am using the leftover branding strips. So these are the last of the strips that I have, and I want them to be in my book. And so I am just making sort of like a little, I don't know what you call this, like a little, like a burst, like sort of like a sunburst or sunbeam. I don't know what you would call this. But yeah, I am just stapling them on the bottom together. I have a little trouble with my stapler. But that's what I end up doing here, and I end up tucking this behind the photo cluster that I end up making. And so the paper that I'm using, it's a graphic paper of the trees from the Snow and Cocoa collection, and so I'm just adding another element of graphic-ness to that page with that little starburst thing that I do in the back. But I'm just matting my little photo strip onto some paper from, I believe that's some Seuss fish paper, and I tuck some sheet music behind it, and I'm just gluing it all down. Everything is glued down. I am just cutting off the excess of those strips, and what I end up putting on here is that awesome chipboard piece. I end up having to glue it down though because the chipboard, you know, the adhesive doesn't stay put. And I took one of the Maggie Holmes phrase stickers and put that there as well. So this is the last page I end up working on. I managed to get both of these photos down onto this one page, and it came out really quickly. I just matted the photos onto some paper. So one of them I mat on the Seuss fish paper that had a bunch of really cute colorful baubles, and then the other photo I mat on that pink pattern paper. And before I glue them all down to the page, I use this doily that I have. It's like a black and white spot doily. I believe it was from one of my Planner Society kits. I cut it in half and I use it for the background to layer behind the photos. And I just simply took another one of the Maggie Holmes phrase stickers and put it there along with one of those chipboard star stickers, and yeah, that was a very, very simple page there. So once I do that, once I basically created all of my pages, I go all the way back to the beginning and I do my journaling. So I start with the movies and then I continue on. And so yeah, that is basically my week 4 and like 5.5, since it went like halfway. December went like, it wasn't a full 5th week, it was like half of a 5th week. So those are my pages for week 4 and 4.5. I hope you enjoy this video and my processes throughout December. I will be sure to do an entire flip through of this journal soon so you can see that. And yeah, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all next time. Bye!